Simulating the transfer of data or messages is incredibly easy with the Yellowjacket Sting Visual Networks product. For this video, we will demonstrate the sending of messages between a server and various other computers on a network. We have already added the server and several computers to the canvas. In order to send a message, we must first create a link. To do this, we'll start by dragging a square around all of the objects on the canvas, causing them all to be selected. The Sting editor has automatically chosen an anchor object for us, indicated by the gray selection handles. If we want a different anchor, we can easily choose a different object by holding the Control key and clicking on the new object. In this case, we do want the server to be the anchor object, so we will Control-click on it. We can now go to the toolbar and click on the Add Link icon. You can see gray lines appear that show the link between each computer and the server. Now that our links are established, we can start sending messages. First, we need to right-click on one of our computers and add a trigger. We will choose a Send trigger. In the Properties dialog that pops up, we can select the recipient of our message by clicking on Uninitialized and checking the box next to our intended recipient, which in this case is the server. Only objects that have a link will appear in the recipient list. We can also specify the name of the message that we want to send. We will send a neighborly hello to the recipient. We will finish up this trigger by clicking OK and then Done. Let's hit the play button to view our message being sent in the Sting player. As you know, computers are constantly sending messages, so let's change our Send trigger so that it is sending out multiple messages. To simulate this, we will open our trigger list and then click on the Send Hello trigger. In the Properties dialog, we will switch to the Secondary tab and select all computers other than the server. Now, we will move to the Recurrence tab and choose to have messages sent at random intervals. Specifically, we will choose to have them sent every 1 to 5 seconds. Click OK twice to save this setting. Take a quick look at the timeline, and you will see that the Sting editor has added numerous triggers based on the settings we just selected. Now let's set up our server to respond to the messages it is receiving. We will right-click on the server and add a Send trigger. By switching to the Timing tab, we can indicate that we want the Send trigger to fire when a specific event occurs. In this case, we want it to trigger when a message is received. We set it up so that all of our computers are sending messages, so we need to select all of the computers in the list so that they all receive responses from the server. Next, we need to tell the trigger what message to look for. The computers are sending the message hello, so we will enter that here. This feature allows us to send different responses based on what message is received. Now, let's configure our response by clicking on the Send tab. Under the Type of Recipient, we will choose an event response, which means that only the computer that sent the message will get a response. Then, we'll change the response message to Hi. By clicking OK and then Done, we will finalize our settings. Oftentimes, a simulation can be enhanced by adding a widget to monitor what is happening in the simulation. We can quickly add a ladder widget to our simulation, which will allow us to monitor the messages. To start, we'll right-click on the server, select Add Widget, and then Ladder. You'll notice that our cursor has changed, and we can now click and drag a rectangle to indicate where our widget should be located. We can customize our widget properties by double-clicking anywhere on the widget. Let's change the default name to Messages in the widget name box. On the Ladder tab, we will then indicate that we want a report for all of our objects. Using the up and down arrows, we can easily move objects in the list, causing their order in the Monitor widget to immediately change. To finish, we will click OK. Let's wrap up this video by taking a quick look at how our simulation looks in the Sting player. Not only can we see all of our messages being sent back and forth, but we can see a detailed log of each message here in our Messages widget. Thanks for watching.